This is the Amiga 500. I grew up using the Amiga 500 and have fond memories of showing off its incredible graphics and sound to my friends. Our family was a Commodore-only household until we were forced to migrate to an IBM-compatible PC in the mid-1990s. This particular Amiga 500 was generously donated to me by the Blue Dino. Seriously, Matt, I really appreciate you giving me this machine. This thing has sat idle in a storage locker for years, so it's time to put it to work. Let's pimp it out. Let me start off by saying that I am amazed by what the Amiga community continues to produce in terms of new hardware and software. Commodore hasn't produced a computer since the mid-1990s, but that hasn't stopped collectors from engineering everything from expansion cards, FPGA Amigas, and full Amiga OS compatible PowerPC based motherboards. There's no other computing platform with more enthusiastic fans. It's really the ultimate hobbyist computer. I sold my last Amiga 500 about 10 years ago because I was tired of dealing with old floppy disks. Once I received this machine, I decided to see what expansion boards had been engineered since then. Let's take a look at some of these upgrades. My Amiga 500 has the stock 1.3 Kickstart in ROM. Unfortunately, version 1.3 does not support IDE devices. I purchased a version 3.1 ROM from Amiga Kit, which will allow me to use an IDE hard drive without a boot disk. A successful installation is confirmed by the legendary purple boot screen with Amiga logo and floppy disk animation. The A508IDE expansion board by Kipper2K is a godsend for those of us who want to use a hard disk on our Amiga 500. There are other modern solutions as well as legacy upgrades, but the A508IDE is the only expansion board that fully integrates into the system. No unwieldy sidecar boxes or exposed circuit boards hanging outside of the expansion slot. Installation is simple. Remove the original 68000 processor, install the new A500 CPU adapter, which relocates the CPU to allow the expansion board to fit beneath the keyboard and shielding, and install the A508IDE itself. Two wires need to be soldered to the expansion connector, but this is easy even for soldering novices. My hard drive will actually be a compact flash card. This card contains a licensed version of Workbench 3.1, as well as all of the necessary disk partitions required for maximum compatibility. This drive, combined with WHD load, will allow me to experience Amiga games in a new way.
Alright guys, so as you can see, this is really what I would consider to be the ideal solution, for me at least. Now, if you're just looking to play some old school Amiga games, an Amiga 500 with this Kipper2K board and the 3.1 ROM is really the ideal solution for you. Now you could go out and spend big money on an Amiga 1200 or A4000 or something like that that's going to be loaded to the teeth with a 68060 processor, but really if you're just wanting to play the games, Amiga 500, in my opinion, best possible solution. And really, an Amiga 500 these days is not terribly expensive. Now, I've noticed that they are starting to go up in recent years, but you can still find a nice Amiga 500 for around $100, maybe even less. So they're definitely reasonable. Now, the Kipper2K board I think was around $100 or maybe a little less than $100 for the 8 megabyte version, which is the high end. And really, that's a great price. So all in, I mean, you're talking maybe $250 total for everything if you've got a power supply and all that kind of stuff. So extremely reasonable. You can't even buy an Amiga 1200 for that much these days. So yeah, I'm just thrilled with this setup. I'd want to give a shout out to a buddy of mine, Lantis, for giving me a hand with some software issues I was having with WHD load. Worked out a few kinks, getting some software working on here, but everything's working great. He was also nice enough to send me a couple parts I was missing, like the expansion cover, which seems like almost all Amiga 500s are missing those. But yeah, I love this thing. It's basically the Amiga that I always wanted growing up. You know, I had an Amiga 500, so having one with a hard drive is pretty awesome. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.